Dear students, I welcome you all in my lecture series on digital signal processing, and this is lecture 8 of this series. In lecture 6 and 7 we studied the classification of discrete time systems in accordance with the number of different characteristics, namely linearity, causality, time invariance, and stability. Now in this lecture we will pay our attention to the analysis of important class of system which is known as linear time invariant system. So linear time invariant system are characterized in time domain simply by their response to unit sample sequence or unit impulse. This means if to a linear time system we provide a unit impulse as an input, what we obtain at the output is known as impulse response, and this is denoted by symbol Hn, and this is the characteristic feature of this system. So simply saying, suppose if we apply some impulse to this system and we obtain this kind of output in response to this impulse, and this output is known as impulse response of this system, and we will focus our attention to determine the output of the linear time invariant system to a arbitrary input if impulse response is known to us. Any arbitrary input can be decomposed and it can be represented as weighted sum of unit sample sequences. We will see it detail in the latter part of our lecture. So simply by using the linearity and time invariance property of the linear time invariant system, the response of system to any arbitrary input xn can be expressed in terms of unit sample response of the system. This we will derive, and this formula to obtain the response of LTI system to any arbitrary input xn is known as convolution sum, and this is an expression which relates the xn means input and hn means impulse response and yn means output. So let us start our analysis of linear time invariant system. So first of all, let us see how a arbitrary signal xn can be decomposed in the form of impulses, means a resolution of a discrete time signal into impulses. How any arbitrary signal can be represented in the form of impulses, or they can be decomposed in the form of impulses. Suppose, just for our convenience, we draw an arbitrary signal xn which takes its shape something like this. and so on. So these are the time index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on, and this is -1, -2 and so on. These are the value at that particular time index, means this value may be called as the value at n equal to 0, means x0. This value may be called the value at n equal to 1, means x1. This value may be called the value at n equal to 2, means x2. And just if we represent any time index as a general index k, so the value at this index may be called as xk. Now suppose if we multiply this sequence by a unit impulse sequence, means if we multiply xn by delta n, what will result at the output? At the output we can obtain x0 delta n, means at the output we will obtain x0 delta n. This is n and this is the output that we are obtaining because of multiplication. This is not xn, not delta n, this is x0 delta n. This is some intermediate output, you can say. Suppose if we multiply this xn by delta n minus 1, means shifted version of the impulse. This means we are multiplying xn by delta n minus 1. This is delta n minus 1. So what we obtain because at the output because of this multiplication, naturally x1 delta n minus 1. So we obtain x1 delta n minus 1. Simply if we keep on doing this process for every shift of this impulse, we multiply it by xn, what we obtain at the output is, say, xn is multiplied by a general shift, that is delta n minus k. So what we obtain at the output is xk delta n minus k. This you can very easily visualize from these pictures. Suppose if I take another shift value, this means I am going to multiply xn by delta n minus m. So naturally we will obtain at the output xm delta n minus m. Now if I add all these values which have been found after multiplication, what we obtain because of this addition, we once again obtain the signal itself. Means if we add all these values which were obtained because of the multiplication of this signal by impulse, this means addition is ranging from k equals to minus infinity to infinity xk delta n minus k. So this will result into the original signal xn. So what we are observing over here, that any arbitrary signal can be decomposed in the form of weighted shifted impulses. So this will help us to determine the output of linear time invariant system for any arbitrary input if the impulse response of the system is known to us. So how can we determine the output of the linear time invariant system for any arbitrary input? Let us see. Suppose we have an LTI system. When I am saying linear time invariant system, this means it holds good the property of linearity as well as time invariance. So if we apply delta n as an input to this system, what we obtain at the output is known as Hn. Means output if impulse is applied at the input is known as impulse response. That I have shown you in my earlier picture, that simply I have applied an impulse, and suppose if I am obtaining an output like this. Suppose the output is 1 at the time index 0, 2 at the time index 1, and at time index -1 it is further 2, and at the rest of the indices it is 0. So this is the response if input was impulse. Now suppose if I apply a shifted impulse to this system, this means instead of delta n I apply delta n -1 to this. So what this property of LTI system says to us? Property of LTI system says us that this response will be shifted simply by 1 unit in time. So this will be simply 2, 1 and 2, like this. Okay, now if I suppose shift it further by, say, shift it over here, delta n plus 1, this is delta n plus 1, this is n, and if I obtain the response in this situation, I apply this input to this LTI system, so the output will also be shifted by the same amount, because this system is linear and time invariance. So because of this time invariance property, its response will look something like this. Now suppose if I multiply this delta n by some signal xn, this signal itself is suppose something like this. This is 2 1 1 2 1 1. Okay, this is 1 index, this is 0, and this is -1. This is n, and this is some xn. Now if I multiply this delta n by this xn, what will result at the output because of the multiplication is simply 2 over here. When it was impulse, it was 1 over here, and now after multiplication it is 2 over here, means it is x0 delta n. So what will be the output? The linearity property, scaling property says that the output will also be scaled by the same factor, means it will be scaled by 2. So the output will be 2, 4 and 4. This is simply the scalar property or you can say one of the part of this superposition property or linearity property. So this is the response because of the input occurring at time index 0. We can also evaluate the response because of the input occurring at time index 1. So at 1, if we multiply this signal by shifted impulse, what we obtain at the output, x1 delta n minus 1, and this is itself, it is 1. Okay, so there is no the scale factor is 1, and we will obtain the same result over here because of the multiplication of this 1 scale factor. And similarly, if we multiply this signal by delta n plus 1, so here the value is 1 multiplied by delta n plus 1, x minus 1 multiplied by delta n plus 1. So since the scale factor is 1, we will obtain the same result as it was obtained because of the delta n plus 1. So 2, 1 and 2. Now if we add all these inputs, what we obtain finally is xn. And if we add all these outputs also, this output and this output, what we obtain is the final output yn. So if we apply xn, we obtain yn, and yn is obtained in terms of hn, this hn. So getting yn because of the application of input xn, if hn is known to us, is done through the process of convolution. So hn convolved with xn obtains yn. So now let us derive the formula for this. So as I have already told to you that if we apply delta n, and in response to this delta n we obtain hn as the output. So if we apply x0 delta n to the same LTI system, what we obtain at the output is x0 hn. If we apply x1 delta n minus 1, what we obtain at the output is x1 h n minus 1, and we keep on doing all the possible value of this k. This means if we multiply xn by delta n minus k, we obtain xk delta n minus k, and we apply this to the LTI system, we obtain xk h n minus k. So if we sum all the above terms from k ranging from minus infinity to infinity, if we sum all the above terms from k equals to minus infinity to infinity, the terms which is at the left hand side of the system and the terms which is at the right hand side of this system, all are added. So what we obtain, how can we write down this addition? Summation k equals to minus infinity to infinity xk delta n minus k. When now this added value is passed through this system, LTI system, what we obtain at the output is the addition of all these. So this is summation k equals to minus infinity to infinity x k h n minus k, and this part is known as output of the system and is represented by yn, and this part is known as input of the system and is represented by xn. So this is the defining relationship of convolution. So the defining relationship of convolution is yn equals to summation k equals to minus infinity to infinity x of k h of n minus k. So using this formula, this is the formula of convolution sum, we will evaluate the output of a linear time invariant system for a given arbitrary input xn if impulse response of the system is known to us. So let us do this sum problem for this situation, and we will understand how the process flows. Okay, let us find the convolution of a finite length sequence. I am writing a finite length sequence over here. Suppose hn is given as 1 2 2 3 and xn is given as 2 minus 1 and 3. So we have to find the yn. So what the convolution says that if we apply x0 delta n, what we obtain x0 hn. This the convolution says. So let us see. This is hn. Okay, firstly let us draw the hn. One, two, two, and 3. This is time index 0 1 2 3, and this is 1 2 2 3. This is hn, and this is n. And what we are applying, this is the response with respect to applied impulse. Now if we apply, what we are going to apply, 2 delta n minus 1 delta n minus 1 and plus 3 delta n minus 2. This we are going to apply. So in response to this 2 delta n means this is delta n multiplied by 2. Now each and everything which is occurring because of this delta n will be multiplied by 2 at the output, simply because of this linearity property. So this 1 will become 2, 2 will become 4, this is 4, and then 6. So 2, 4, 4 and 6. This is what our property says. This is time index 0 1 2 3. Okay, now if we apply this input, this component, then what will happen? Simply the impulse is multiplied by, shifted impulse is multiplied by minus 1. This means here it will be like this. this is the input, and what we have, this impulse response, it is 1 2 2 2 2 and 3. So each and everything is shifted by 1 unit and multiplied by -1, shifted by 1 unit and multiplied by -1. So this will be -1, -2, -2 and -3. Okay, -1, -2, -2 and -3, and time index 1 2 3 and 4. This is the time index. Okay, this is 0. Now if we are willing to obtain the output because of this input component, so naturally this is 3 multiplied with delta n minus 2. So each and everything is shifted by 2 unit. This is delta n minus 2 multiplied by 3. So each and everything in this response, impulse response, is multiplied by, this is Hn, this is shifted by 2 unit and then multiplied by 3. This means this is 0 1 and this is 2. This means 1 is 3, 2 is 6, this is 6, and then 3 3 9. It will be like this. Now these things, they are added to obtain the final output, and these things, they can be added to obtain the Xn. So Xn is 2 -1 and 3, and this is the impulse response of LTI system. And if we add all these outputs, what we obtain, this is 2 and 4 and -1 is 3, 2 3, and then 4 and -2 is 2 and 2 once again. Well, this is 3 6 6 9. So 4 -2 2 and 3 5, and then 6 -2 is 4 and 6 10. So this result into 10 5 10, and then rest of the things when you will do, you will find that this is 3 and this is 9. So the resultant output Yn is equal to 2 3 5 10 3 and 9. So this way you can obtain the convolution of a finite sequence. We can also find the convolution of a finite sequence using graphical method. In graphical method, what we do, how we proceed, you see, the formula says that Yn equals to summation k starting from -infinity to infinity xk hn minus k. So Yn is a sequence. Yn is a sequence of this kind. Say this is y0, y1, y2, and this thing y -1, y -2, and so on. So just to evaluate a general term, say yn0, what we need to do, this is suppose say that n0, we have to evaluate k, summation k equals to -infinity to infinity xk h n0 minus k. Here both the input signal and the impulse response, they are function of k. They are function of k. This input signal and impulse response both are function of k. So to evaluate the output at any time index n0, what we have to do, first of all we have to do folding. Number one operation that we have to perform is folding. Folding of, in this formula, folding of sequence hn or hk. So hk is folded to obtain h minus k. Then second operation is shifting by n0, shifting by the time index under question is n0, and this h minus k is shifted to the right. Suppose this is the hk, this is hk, just for the example this is hk. So naturally this will be h minus k, this is h minus k. And if this n0 is positive, means we are willing to obtain 2 minus k, h2 minus k, then what we have to do, we have to shift it right. H minus k has to be shifted right by 2 unit. And if this n0 is negative, this means we have to obtain the minus 2 minus k, then it has to be shifted 2 unit in left, like this. So second operation is shifting. Third operation is sample by sample multiplication of this sequence by this sequence. So third operation that we have to perform is multiplication. And fourth operation, and because of multiplication we obtain some intermediate sequence, and this intermediate sequence may be called as v n0 k. And lastly we obtain the summation. This summation is obtained of all the sample value which is obtained for v n0 k. So we will, so let us do the graphical convolution of these two sequences, where xn equals to 2, 5, 0 and 4, and hn is equal to 4, 1, 3. So graphically we will evaluate the output yn. So what this expression says, that if you look at the expression, yn equals to summation k equals to minus infinity to infinity xk h n minus k. So first of all we are willing to evaluate y0. So to evaluate y0, what we need to obtain, summation k equals to minus infinity to infinity xk h n equals to 0 and minus k. So we have to evaluate h minus k. hn is given to us, so better to change this index from n to k. This is xk, this may be changed to k because these are the dummy variables. So h minus k is obtained as, this is 4 and this is 1 and this is 3. So now this is h minus k, this is k. So simply we will obtain, what this expression says, that we will obtain sample by sample multiplication. This means each sample is multiplied by the same index numbered sample. So the multiplied sequence is obtained, which is known as V0K. So naturally here it is 4, here it is 1, here it is 3. 4 multiplied by 2 results into 8. So we have a sample which is 8. This is 8, and summing all these samples, all other samples, they are 0. If you do the multiplication by 5 by 0, 0 by 0, 4 by 0, and here these samples, 1 is multiplied by 0, 3 is multiplied by 0, so rest of the samples they are 0. So if we now, what the third part of the expression says, that we sum up all the values, means 0 is added with 0 is added with 0, and this way 0 is added with 8 and then zeros. So we obtain y0 as 8. Now we have to obtain y1. So to obtain y1, what we need to evaluate? h1 minus k. h1 minus k. So h1 minus k is obtained as by shifting this hk at the right. So this may be shifted like this. This is 3, this is 4. So this is 4, 1, 3. And now once again we do the multiplication process. The second step is multiplication by xk and h1 minus k. So each and every sequences are multiplied. So 2 is multiplied by 1, so this is 2. 5 is multiplied by 4, so this is 20. Simply I am writing down the strength, because sketching the stem will take the larger part of this paper, so you may assume that this is correct. Okay, and then rest of the values, they are multiplied by 0, so they will become 0. They will become 0. So the third part of this expression says that we will add all the values ranging from k equals to minus infinity to infinity. This means 2 is added with 20, will add 22. Now to evaluate, similarly to evaluate y2, we will shift it by 2 unit in time. So this will be 3, this will be 1, and this will be 4. 3, 1 and 4. This is h2 minus k. This is k. 0, 1, 2, 3. This is h1 minus k, and we have to multiply this h2 minus k by hk. So each and every sample is multiplied, and we obtain the intermediate result v2k because of this multiplication. So 3 is multiplied by 2 is 6, this is 6, and 5 is multiplied by 1, this means it is 5, and 4 is multiplied by 0, this means it is 0, and 4 is multiplied, this 4 is multiplied by 0 is 0. Now we will add all the values from k equals to minus infinity to infinity, and this will result into 11. So y2 is 11. So this way we can do the multiplication and we can obtain all other y values. So y3 is obtained this way. If you do, it is obtained as 31. You can do it by your own. So y4 is obtained as 4, y5 is obtained as 12. So this way we can write down the final sequence as, this means yn can be written as y0 was equal to 8, then y1 was 22, y2 was 11, and then 31 and 4, and then 12. So the final sequence, output sequence, is this, and this can be obtained graphically this way. So you can do much of exercises to make you perfect. So we will explain other various methods to obtain convolution in our next lecture. So thanks for viewing this lecture.